times has it happened that you wanted to share an idea or raise a concern regarding a certain aspect of a project that you were handling, but you stopped yourself short? It was probably because you were not sure of yourself, or maybe you were worried that you might get ridiculed about it by your peers or other people in the meeting. Or it could be because you tried something like this in the past and you were reprimanded or you were cut to size by your boss or a peer. In either cases, you probably did not feel safe speaking up because of a lack of what experts now call psychological safety. Hi, I'm Rajiv, and I'm an executive coach, and I talk about leadership and transformation. Today, we are going to talk about psychological safety. So, what is psychological safety? Psychological safety defined is as a climate where people feel comfortable expressing themselves, sharing concerns, and reporting mistakes. Now, the question is, why is it so important? You see, our workplaces have evolved dramatically over the past 100 years. The way a knowledge worker works today is very different from how a factory worker used to work in an industrial era. Factory workers were hired for their muscle and their work was mostly physical, whereas the knowledge worker of today is hired for their intelligence and for their thinking abilities. The carrot and stick method and the fear motivation techniques that worked with a factory worker, they do not work with a knowledge worker. They in fact shut down the brain activity and comes in the way of the knowledge working giving their best at workplace. Almost all our work today in organization requires high levels of interdependence. If people do not feel safe or comfortable speaking up at critical moments, the difference can be that of life and death. For a knowledge worker to bring their whole self to work, leaders must create and feel safe to speak up freely and share their ideas and not be intimidated by interpersonal fears. And the term psychological safety was coined by Amy Edmondson, a researcher who accidentally stumbled upon this insight while doing a project, the relationship between team performance, interpersonal relationships, and the mistakes made by the team. Her hypothesis was that there has to be a relationship between the quality of relationship the team members shared with each other and the performance of the team. So with her research, she did find that there was definitely a correlation between the two factors. But what she did not expect was that the results were exactly the opposite of what she was expecting. She expected that high-performing teams would have better relationships between the team members and they would make fewer mistakes. What she found out was that high-performing teams, although had good relationship between the team members, but they tend to make higher mistakes. And that was something baffling for her. But as she dug deeper, what she eventually found out was that higher performing teams had a safer climate and the team members felt comfortable reporting higher levels of mistakes as compared to the low performing teams where there was a cover up and they hesitated or they did not report as many mistakes, even though they might have been making higher level of mistakes. The concept of psychological safety gained momentum once Charles Duhigg, the author of the book Power of Habit, wrote about a similar study being conducted at Google where they were looking at what makes high-performance teams high-performing. And they also arrived at a similar conclusion, and they had also cited Amy Edmondson's work in their research. Since then, there has been a very high interest amongst the organization to adopt psychological safety as a strategy for promoting learning, innovation, and employee engagement within the organization. Gallup found out that only 3 out of 10 employees felt that their opinion counted at work. And Gallup also calculated that if we are able to push this number to 6 out of 10 employees, then the organizations would see a 27% reduction in turnover, almost 40% reduction in safety incidences, and about 12% increase in their productivity. It's a no-brainer that in today's VUCA environment, organizations must find and continue to find new ways to create value to thrive and survive in the long term. And creating value starts with putting the talent the organization have to their best and highest use. What that means is it is not enough to hire smart and motivated people. They must also create a climate of safety if they want the knowledge workers to bring their whole self to work and share their knowledge with the others and collaborate. An unsafe and intimidating workplace kills creativity and motivation for any worker. And it is as true today as it was 250 years ago, as related by Edmund Burke, who said that no passion so effectively robs the mind of its powers of acting and reasoning as fear.